Welcome to the briefing. I'm Captain Pahil. Today, we are decoding the DGCA's Civil Aviation Requirement, Series G, Part V, effective December 1st, 2025. The Radio Telephone Operator Restricted Certificate is your legal authorization to transmit on aeronautical frequencies, governed by the Global Conventions of the International Telecommunication Union. To earn this authorization under the 2025 update, candidates must navigate a mandatory two-gate evaluation system. You clear Gate 1, the written computer-based exam, to earn your ticket to Gate 2, the practical simulation. Mastering the rules within this CAR document is as critical to your career as mastering your aircraft's flight manual. Without this certificate in hand, you cannot legally operate a radio in Indian airspace. Before you register for the written test or pay any fees, you must verify your status under the Section 5 exemptions. The first category, bypassing Gate 1, applies to qualified pilots from the Indian Air Force, Navy, Army, or Coast Guard. They proceed straight to the practical exam, provided they produce satisfactory evidence of exactly 1,000 hours of flying experience. Two other groups skip the written exam: operators holding a valid legacy license issued under the 1954 Indian Wireless Telegraphy Rules, and personnel holding a valid flight radio telephone operator's license from Commonwealth countries or the Philippines. If you meet these criteria, you submit your exemption application through the DGCA portal. Once the Director General grants approval, that exemption carries a strict 3-year validity window. Establishing your exemption status dictates your entire testing matrix. Confirming this detail first saves months of unnecessary written preparation and puts you directly on the threshold of the practical lab. For those taking this standard pathway, your first administrative target is the Central Examination Organization. You must obtain a CEO computer number before you can even schedule a test date. The payment infrastructure is strictly segmented. You process the written exam fee exclusively through the Pariksha portal. When it comes time for the practical exam, you pay through Bharat Kosh via the EGCA portal. Gate 1 is a computer-based theoretical knowledge test. You have 50 multiple-choice questions, administered entirely in the English language. You need a minimum score of 70% to clear the written phase. Once you pass, that result remains valid for exactly 3 years from the date of the exam. Administrative precision is the first test you take. Logging into the wrong payment portal or missing your 3-year validity window will ground you before you reach a testing center. This pie chart illustrates the Annexure B breakdown for the mandatory 48 hours of organizational instruction you must complete. The time is distributed across 3 core knowledge pillars. The smallest allocation, at 5 hours, covers Part 1, Regulations. This includes the rules of ICAO Annex 10, mapping the flight information regions in India, and understanding meteorological codes and NOTAMs. 10 hours are dedicated to Part 2, Radio Principles. You study the technical limitations of HF versus VHF communications, frequency propagation, and how to effectively operate the squelch and volume controls. The remaining 33 hours focus entirely on Part 3, Procedures. You must master the exact phraseology for every phase of flight, starting from departure pushback and taxi, all the way to emergency distress and urgency calls. The massive weighting toward practical procedure reveals the DGCA's primary objective. They are not testing your engineering depth. They are evaluating your ability to communicate flawlessly under heavy operational stress. The December 2025 update permanently eliminates unverified ad hoc practical training setups. The CARE now mandates instruction through formal radio telephony training organizations, or RTTOs. The instructors at these organizations face a strict vetting process. They must hold 1,500 flying hours, or 5 years of operational ATC experience, and demonstrate language proficiency at ICAO Level 5 or higher. By standardizing the instructional personnel, the DGCA guarantees that every candidate is evaluated against a unified global benchmark before they even attempt the official exam. Booking your practical exam on the EGCA portal locks your schedule. Slots cannot be rescheduled or canceled. If you fail to appear, you are marked absent, and it counts as an automatic failure for that attempt. This schematic shows the mandated layout for the practical test, maintaining strict physical separation between the candidate and the examiner. This is a blind test. Every audio transmission and video reaction is recorded, time-stamped, and stored for 6 months to ensure strict quality assurance. During the 30-minute simulation, you navigate real-time traffic conflicts, deteriorating weather, and emergency medical scenarios. You handle these variables using strictly standard IKO phraseology. The lab deliberately strips away all visual communication cues. You survive entirely on your radio ear and your strict adherence to procedural discipline. To pass the practical simulation, you must secure a minimum score of exactly 50%. Every candidate receives a strict limit of exactly 3 attempts to pass this practical phase. Under clauses 7.5.4 and 7.5.5, failing all 3 attempts wipes your exam validity or exemption status clean. You must return to the beginning and pass the written exam again. Upon passing the practical, you pay the requisite fees and apply for the certificate on the DGCA portal. The resulting license remains valid until you reach 80 years of age. To extend the license beyond age 80, you must submit an experience certificate proving no less than 3 months of work in an aeromobile station during the preceding year. The RTRA under CAR 7GVI is a highly fortified credential. It is protected by an unforgiving testing standard and a strict 3-strike limit. Success requires immense respect for both the syllabus and the simulator. Dismissed.